Okay, I'm back. Today, I've been looking at the box or the machine of MonitorsTwo on the Hackthebox. I have already put it up this machine, and I'd like to use the POM box provided by the Hackthebox to do this penetration. So now we can switch over to HTTP viewer, which is online Pilot OS. As you can see, I have already identified the IP address, and we do not need to do that. And because we have already got the IP address from the machine information. But anyway, I did the nmap scanning with the option like scene scan, the version scan, the default script scan, and the comprehensive scan. From the nmap scanning results, as you can see, the two open ports. The first one is 22, which is running SSH service and corresponding version information. Of course, this version doesn't have any vulnerability. And the next one is 80, which is running HTTP service, which is Nginx, and this is the version number. So what we are going to do next is to do some enumeration for the 80 ports, both manually and the automatically. Use some sort of tools like Ligto and GoBuster. So let's open up the browser. Let's make it bigger. So it will be nicer to look at what's going on. And we can copy the IP address to the clipboard. And then we can put the IP address into the address bar of the browser, and I think this is the user login, and the CMS is Cacti. So we can try some vulnerability with weak credentials, but it's not working. And also I try to use the login bypass, for example like this one. But it's not working. So I think we need to check the source code of this page. And as we scroll all the way to the bottom, as you can see, we got the version of the CMS Cacti. And so we can make a research on this version to see whether there is a vulnerability. We can make a copy, and you can use the Google to make research, but I will not do that. But from the version, I have already opened up this GitHub repository, and this one is exploit for the CVE 2022 and 4619 vulnerability. And I have already make a clone to the Pilot OS. As you can see, yeah, so we can go inside or navigate into the CVE exploit directory, and we can run this. And we need to specify the target IP address. And also we need to set up the localhost to be listened on. Local port to be 555. But before we hit enter, we need to set up the listener first on the attack box. So we can maybe I can go back to upward directory, sudo 555. It's listening on this number, port number. Now we can hit run. Yeah, it's vulnerable, and we switch over to this tab. As you can see, we have already got the shell or reverse shell, and what we can do. And I think from the banner we can know, although we got the shell, but we are just inside the container. And what we can do, maybe we can upload the directory, the Nymphia shell script, or not. We just use the command type Yeah, as you can see, yeah, this one cap sh has a SUID bit. It means that we can use this one to elevate our privilege. So I think now we can use Google and go to the GTF opens cap sh SUID. So we just make a copy, and now we can run as bin cap and paste in here, but we need to first paste into the clipboard, and we can copy from keyboard, and now we can check the ID. Yeah, now we are root user, but we are still inside the container. And what can we do? We need to upload the Nymphia shell script to find some sensitive information, right? So we can go to the temp directory, and I can open up another tab, and I need to find the Nymphia's type, because I don't want to download from internet. And then we can copy the whole path. Okay. And then we can set up the web server via Python module. No. Yeah, this is the shell. And then we can use the wget and the IP address of the payload OS or attack box. The port number, Nymphia's. Okay. And we need to make it executable. Nymphia's. And let's run this shell script. You know, the Nymphia shell script is very powerful when we do the pen testing. It will go through all possible vulnerabilities and also misconfigurations or some sensitive files which contains like password or username. Here I think we have really know that as we scrub up, I think some configuration files must be located. I think should be here, because here we got the database, the host name, yeah, and the database character user. So we can make a copy of this full path of this configuration file. And we can cat yeah, as you can see, we retrieve the content of this file, and here we got the username, password, port number, and the database. So I think we need to connect to the database. We can use the my circle, but the host name is DB rather than localhost. Root and the DB, and the database is cacti, and we want to execute the show tables, right? Let's hit enter. Yeah, we got all tables for this database. I think this one must contain some credentials, so we can select or dump the data. Yeah, which one? I'm just make a copy of this part, paste in here, and here select all from user, right? Let's press enter. You know, as you can see, we got the username and password. So maybe this username is also used by the target, not container. So we can make a copy of this encrypted password, and we can open up another tab and echo to the hash txt, right? And then we can use the John the Ripper word list user share word lists log q txt hash. Let's hit enter, because I have done this cracking earlier, so the John the Ripper has cached a result, so we can use the John show command to display the cracked password. Yeah, the password is a funky monkey. Then we can use the SSH, and the username is markers, right? Markers, and the target IP address, and we can copy this password. Okay, as you can see, we successfully log in to the target via SSH. This time we are inside the host rather than the container. So, and also we can check some information of the local host. And as you know, if you follow the instruction provided by the Hackthebox, yeah, this we can check the list. We can cat the user flag, and we can go to the var directory, go to the mail subdirectory, and we can cat the markers. So I think this user writes some information about the vulnerabilities, which is possible for this host. And the first one is Linux kernel. I think we can check the kernel ulim. Although this version of kernel is lower than this one, but I think this will not help us to get the privileged shell. Also, the second one, this is the cross-site scripting vulnerability, XSS vulnerability. Again, this will not help us to get the root privilege. And I think this one, this vulnerability affects Moby, an open source project created by Docker for software containerization. Attackers could exploit this vulnerability by traversing directory contents and executing programs on the data directory with insufficiently restricted permissions. The bug has been fixed in Moby, so I think we can check the version of the Docker on the target. Yeah, this version is lower than this one. It means that we can use this vulnerability to elevate our privilege. So how to do? First, we need to locate the Docker directory. So I think we can use the mount. So how to locate the directory of the Docker? I think we can use the find mount command. Yeah, this command will give us all possible directories or locations of the container of the Docker. And as you can see, I think it must be inside the Docker, and but there are several subdirectories. We are not sure which one is used by the container. You know, this one we have already got the root shell, right? So we can use the mount command to show the information about the container itself. Not this one. Here, as you can see, the work directory and the upload directory. So I think, of course, this command give us the container. I think this will match the directory on the target or on the host. So the upper directory, and this, I think this one start with C41 must belong to our container, and then we can go back to our host terminal or session. I think should be this one. So I think we can go inside this directory, make a copy. This is what this vulnerability about. List. Actually, of course, please forget we can navigate the bash. Yeah, sorry. Actually, yeah, I cannot because this one is the result when I did this machine the first time. So it means that as this vulnerability details, we can a bug was found in Mobi where the that directory contained subdirectories with insufficient restrict permissions, allowing unprivileged user to traverse directories contents and execute programs. So how to utilize? We can go back to our container shell. Yeah, here, right here, we can use the copy bin bash and copy to the root directory. And then, of course, I have already done that before. I will not, as you can see, pwd. Oh, we can need pwd. And yeah, we can copy the bin bash to the root directory. And then we can change mode or add the SUID permission to this bash. And then when we done everything inside the container, and because of this vulnerability, yeah, here the Mobi, and then we can go to, this is the host or the host of the container, and then here we can run the bash. Because we have already, this bash has SUID bit, and we run this bash, and then we can elevate our privilege to root user, as you can see from the banner, and then we can navigate to the root directory, and we can cat the root flag. So sorry about the last part of this video, because I did this machine earlier, so I didn't remove some files for some commands. But anyway, I hope this will not affect the effect of this video. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye.